This is the Mutiny on Deck podcast, a show where all things Snapshot VR are discussed. In case you're wondering, Snapshot VR is a virtual reality paintball game that offers players both old and young, new and experienced, a place to show off their paintball skills in virtual reality. My name is Mutiny, and I will be your host for this series. Each week, I will bring on a guest to discuss their experience within Snapshot VR, both competitively and recreationally. Without further ado, let's hop in the episode. Kicking off the show's very first episode, we have Casper, the captain of the Drinking Buddies. Casper, how are you tonight?
Not too bad. How you doing over there?
Can't complain. I'm living.
That is good to hear.
Well, thanks for taking the time out of your night, I should say, to hop onto our very first episode. We'll just ask you, a little bit of your Snapshot history here. How'd you hear about Snapshot?
Yeah, I was just actually cruising the internet one night and was on YouTube, one of those late night things, and all of a sudden I saw a video game that looked a lot like paintball. And I'm sure we all remember the glory days of Greg Hastings and all that. And you see a VR game in which it looks a lot like paintball. It had to be something you had to try. So hopped on that on Steam, and man, I started back in November of last year. And if anyone's starting to play the game nowadays and has no idea what it used to be in November, it was a whole different ballgame. I'm sure you can attest to that. Man,
Oh yeah.
Tuesday nights there was about 6 of us on if we organized it, and versus right now, I mean, you can get on any time and there's 6 to 10 people on.
Absolutely. It was a completely different ball game, so to speak, back then. Um and of course the late night YouTube ventures usually lead to no good, but I'm glad you found the game.
Yeah, it's definitely been fun. A lot of late night games and Snapshot playing with people all across the world. It's pretty awesome game here.
Awesome. So besides that, like how'd you actually get like involved into the competitive side of Snapshot, the VRML?
Yeah, the VRML aspect actually kind of was just one of those things that fell into our lap. So touching upon November, December of last year when the game was just starting to take off, it was one of those ones you had to organize every event. So we would find Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 o'clock Eastern, we'd get 5, 6, 7, 8 people together just to play. A lot of people were already organized on teams. So there's a few of us that started playing together, and you start seeing familiar names. And I like to drink, and that's how the name came into it. And they said, "Hey, let's become a team," and that's what fell into our lap.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and you decided to not only make the team that you captain, but you've essentially made an entire Snapshot like VRML organization, if you will. So like what made you decide to actually venture out into multiple teams, even though you yourself was a, I guess you'd say, a newer player when you decided to take on that adventure?
Video games are a community. What keep people playing video games are the friendships and the people they meet within it. The Drinking Buddies organization is literally a bunch of guys, young and old, that just like to talk paintball, play paintball, and kind of enjoy the aspect of Snapshot. Sometimes on a daily basis, sometimes on a weekly basis. We got some guys that play once or twice a month, some guys that are very competitive multiple times a week. So it's more or less just a good group of guys like to go play some paintball and have a couple drinks together.
Right on. So, what challenges would you say you've experienced so far with having so many different teams?
Um, I think the biggest challenge realistically is just communication. At the end of the day, this is all in the virtual reality world.
Right.
So nobody is local. So some people are, I mean, I got a player that's in Japan, I got a player that's in Canada, and I got a couple players on the West Coast while we're located here on the East Coast. So organizing times in which people can practice, organizing times which people can communicate. I mean, from just the good morning, hey, what's going on, guys, all the way to the 2 o'clock message you get in the morning because someone on the West Coast is just getting off. It's a roller coaster of fun. We'll leave it at that.
Nice. So I know we talked off air a little bit about it, but it's are you letting each team do their own thing, or are you taking control of each team yourself and kind of, putting somebody into a leadership role within those teams, or are you pretty much hands off now?
Yeah, yeah. The Drinking Buddies organization or community is really a community that gives everybody a chance at any position or any team. So there is almost like no set lineup. If you are better than somebody or you're willing to put in more time, then you get moved to a different team. If you are a sub right now, but you put in hours and hours over the next couple of weeks, you'll get moved to a starting spot. While I may have more authority to move some people around come season time or VRML right now, it would be me in charge of the Drinking Buddies A team. We have M France who's in charge of DB 2.0, and B Hast, who was one of the original Drinking Buddy members. He is actually in charge of our DB3 team right now.
So it's good to hear that you've kind of spread the reins, if you will, to some other guys that kind of give them those leadership roles and help grow the game even further.
Yeah, it's really nice, and what's really cool and probably one of my favorite things or aspects to this game right now is seeing the Drinking Buddy organization playing the game during open lobbies, but also seeing the Drinking Buddy 2 and the DB3 team practicing on their own, playing on their own, succeeding. I can't believe week 1 of VRML, they had to face off against each other. That was just an absolute blast. Great games all the way through, but just, really fun guys. And at the end of the day, we're all here for the same thing. We just want to have a good time and, shoot some paint.
Yeah, absolutely. I can attest to that. It's just that competitive nature that, I always have. And it's awesome that Snapshot gives us a platform to do it. And, it sounds like that is the same for a lot of people that might not play real life paintball anymore or are limited on how much paintball they can actually play.
Yeah, I mean that's what this game is here to do. I mean, there's two elements to this. It is still a game at the end of the day. So even if you are not a paintball player, even if you are not someone that grew up during the glory days of paintball back in the early 2000s, or even a modern day player, it's just a fun shooting game. So you have that aspect to it. The other aspect is that there's realistic maps. I mean, we just got done with the Sunshine State. We had all of World Cup last year. I mean, there's realistic maps in there that the pros can come in here and play. I mean, you and I have had opportunities to play with some professional players. It's a good time.
Absolutely. It's awesome to see that the game has progressed to where you had to organize like a play date, so to speak. And now it's like you see pros from multiple teams playing, throughout the night and, you get to play with them. Some of them are actually competing in the VRML. And hopefully that's a sign that the game itself is going to continue to grow even more.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the ball is rolling. It is taking off. We are going to continue to grow it every way we can. I know that you are personally running the VXL, which is also a fantastic organization going on within this game. But having the major names and some of these, I guess you could say, professional players being able to play with the guy that just walked off the street, a lot of these were our idols growing up. So being able to, go out there and shoot them or take them out, it's a pretty awesome feeling at the end of the night.
Yeah, it's definitely rewarding. I'll say that because it's not every day that you get to play with a professional in any kind of thing, whether that's gaming or paintball or a professional sport, so to speak. So it's really awesome to see some of your idols out there playing as well. But week 1 of the VRML is done. Who'd you guys play? And give us your thoughts on how you think your team did.
So this is going to kind of attest to the drinking buddies mentality. I unfortunately cannot even tell you who we played.
Love it.
We go out there, we see what time the match is, we show up, and we show out every single week we can. We do our best, and we have a good time while doing it. Week 1, we did win every single match, which is a nice little attribute to us in our community here, in our organization within Drinking Buddies. Um, but there's always stuff to work on. At the end of the day, we definitely dropped some bodies and some, 3-on-1 opportunities. It should have been a quick 3-on-1. We definitely didn't quite spread the field every single time we should have, but overall, really proud of the guys. That was actually only the second scrimmage setting up the Drinking Buddies completely. So really, really excited to see what happens during this VRML season.
Awesome. Yeah, glad to hear it. Week 1 was interesting. Kind of the same way. We just show up and play. So it's going to be an exciting season now that there's actually I think there's 17 teams. I think 15 have played so far. I don't know about the other two, but coming from last year when we only had between I think 6 to 8 teams, it's really good to see that it's growing. I don't want just a small tournament series where it never expands. You play the same people and kind of get the same results. So it's nice to throw in those different variables and see more teams playing for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and I definitely can speak for my team on this occasion. We are definitely the new kids on the block, and we plan to come after the title. That's for sure.
Yeah, New Kids on the Block, man. You're gonna have like an intro video with some of that music in the background. I'd like
There
to
we
see it.
go.
Love it.
There.
Oh man. So bringing, kind of going back to the VXL, which is the Virtual X Ball League. It's a league I created last year with the help of a couple players that no longer play. You've been able to jump on board and help assist with that. The format, it's a little bit different than VRML. It's 4v4, 15 balls a second. Back in the day, the VRML used to only be 3v3 at 10 and a half balls per second. And so it's a little bit different, a little bit of OG X ball kind of vibe to it. Um, how's that experience been with you being more hands-on with the Virtual X Ball League?
Um, in regards to being more hands-on, it's awesome. Meeting a lot of new players, talking to a lot of new players, everything from helping them set up a VRML team, all the way down to just asking simple questions about bunkers and names and how to do this, that, and another on the field.
For sure. And I know I said hands-on. I know the first event I casted with Tickle Me Elmo, which he always does an awesome job. It's great to have him partake in the VXL as well. You casted the last event with them. And I know you want to be a caster, quote unquote, an official VRML caster. Would you say that it's helped prep you to get you to that level? Do you think that with the amount of casting that you do in the VXL, that a simple match in the VRML is just going to be a cakewalk for you, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. After spending 5 hours in the VXL alongside Elmo, I think a quick 30 to 45 minute VRML match would be a joy. We'll put it at that. It was a long afternoon. Elmo is absolutely fantastic. There is no ifs ands or buts about it. He plays it down every time someone thanks him, and he makes that cast. So without him, we would be definitely nowhere near where we are when it comes to that casting aspect. But yes, going into the VRML, definitely look forward to the opportunity to be able to cast some of these teams and really just get the name of Snapshot out there more. I mean, every opportunity we can to cast, like you said, we got 15, 16 teams going on right now, and I think we've seen what, one or two games casted so far. We need to get a couple more out there, that's for sure.
I agree. I think we need to see you out there casting, because I believe, if I could be wrong, but I think every single VRML caster is on one team. So it's, kind of hard, especially with them being a good team. You want to see some of their matches being casted as well. And it's kind of hard to do that when all the casters are currently playing on the same team. So getting you out there would be awesome as well.
Yeah, definitely. I was not aware of that. We definitely need to change the name of their team or something like that to just Casters 101 or something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of shocking how it played out, but yeah, they're all in one squad now. So we definitely need to kind of spread the field there. All right. Well, we've been going at it for a little while. I just want to try and wrap up. Any final thoughts you have? Any words of wisdom for the listeners out there?
Yeah, yeah. Before we kind of wrap things up, I want to touch upon the VXL a little bit more as we do go into that. Um, any newcomers, and probably the number one reason that I wanted to hop into the VXL and assist you with that is just understanding the format of it. That is for new people, old people, it doesn't matter. That is a randomly chosen event. So come Saturday morning when we start that event, everyone's name gets put into a pool and it is randomly selected. So with that being said, there is no teams. You can get put with veterans or brand new players. You got to show up and show out, and it is a good time.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Well, with that, thanks for your time tonight. And this has been Mutiny and Casper for episode 1 on the Mutiny on Deck podcast. We'll see you next one.